Hey friends, welcome back. It's Lindsay. Today's video, we're just going to be showing you our Azure standard grocery pickup, and then I'm going to be sharing with you my favorite sourdough bread recipe. So let's get into it. So I have been making sourdough for about 4 years now. And I usually get my starters off of Etsy. You know, if you let one accidentally die or you go on vacation and it dies. If you know, well, let me just rephrase. Let me start over. If you're new to sourdough, all it is just flour and water and then the natural yeast that is in the air. I know that sounds gross, but there is yeast floating all around us. And so when you feed the flour water, like if you feed them each other, like flour and water, you do equal parts and you mix it together and just let it sit on the counter with like a napkin over top of it, it begins to get yeast in it, just from particles in the air. You can look it up. I am not a scientist, but anyways, that's just a little bit of background about sourdough starter. And the yeast, that is what helps your bread to rise. It's not going to be yeast like the little granules, because this is natural yeast and it's better for your gut health and better for you overall and tastes way better, in my opinion, and also in my family's opinion, I can tell you. But what we're doing here, I'm mixing all the ingredients, and I will leave a recipe that I use in the description, but I don't follow the recipe exactly. And I'll tell you why about that in just a little bit. But I use a kitchen scale for all my measurements. It's going to be easier for you if you just use a kitchen scale instead of using like cup measurements or anything like that. And so I'm so thankful that I can teach my daughters how to make bread, because it's been a learning experience for me. So I'm glad that at this young of an age that they're able to learn, and hopefully they'll be able to carry on, and I'll give them sourdough from our collection here and they can just carry it on into their families when they're older. And so sourdough starters can live forever. So as long as you take care of it and feed it, the one that I have, I got off of Etsy. I can link that down below as well. The lady was super sweet because she sent me a pack and it never arrived. So she sent me another one like the next day, like expedited for free. It was so sweet of her. But I can leave her shop from Etsy link down below if you want a sourdough starter. I think it was like $7, which is nothing. So it's just dehydrated, and then you just rehydrate it with water, and then you feed it. And on her recipe card that she sends you with it, it tells you all the instructions needed to take care of your sourdough starter. So I would look to someone like that, not me. This is just what I do. I'm winging it every day and it's working for me, but don't do what I do. I'm just showing you what I do. So I'm glad that I can teach my daughters how to cook bread, because every time I cook bread, they love it. They want to eat it. We eat bread basically as a snack nowadays because we make it so much. Hair and all. She's just putting her head in there. It's mine. It's just ours. So it's not like it's going to anybody. So I don't mind if they get their hands in it and get messy with it, because we're the only ones who are going to eat it. So you'll notice your dough starts to come together, and I just prefer to use my hands and get all of the flour and mixture incorporated. And so you'll see it doesn't even stick to my hands. It's just perfect in my opinion. And I'm gonna leave this on my counter, and you'll do a few stretch and folds. I'll show you a little bit later. I usually do 3 to 4 stretch and folds while it's sitting on my counter, and I leave mine out on my counter overnight. I try to put it not in a cold place, but somewhat warm area. Not warm, not too warm, but not too cold. So, and then always feed your sourdough starter when you use it, because you need to replenish what you've taken out of it. So that's what I'm just doing here. I like mine. You'll see the consistency. You'll get to where you know what your sourdough likes, if it likes it more watery, if it likes it more dry, or somewhat in the middle. And I kind of keep mine more to the drier side. It just tends to work out better for me and for my sourdough. So this is the box that had my 1 gallon jugs in it, but as you can tell, someone dropped it and it broke one of them. So the other 3 were okay as far as I can tell. I don't think there's any cracks in them or anything. But here I got some quick rolled oats, gluten-free. We like to cook these for the kids. Bread flour. This is 25 pounds. And then we got over here some nutritional yeast. Hot cocoa mix, 2 pounds. These are the lids. You have to buy these separately for the jars. And then I also got, it's all-purpose flour, unbleached, 25 pounds. But I was going to show you here, I also got one of these 5-gallon buckets with the lid. And then these are the other jars right here. I already washed everything. This is the ones I use right here. And I really like them. They're 1 gallon, and I think like 4 of them are, I think it's like $19. But yeah, so hopefully none of these have an actual crack in them. I'll have to examine them and look a little bit closer. But this is what I get at Azure standard, so. So this wasn't a large haul, but it was items that we needed. And unfortunately, the whole wheat flour that I got for the bread flour, it was really grainy. Like it had a lot of texture in it. Like they didn't run it through again and make it thinner. So I won't be buying that again. I'm still gonna use it. It's just not up to like my liking or my kids' liking. I made bread flour with it. I made bread with that flour, and it was really good bread. It was just kind of like crunchy, like there were seeds in it, you know, because they didn't sand it down, I guess, make it thinner. Be sure when you're ordering to make sure you're looking at the consistency of the flours and making sure that if you want it really fine, like ultra fine, that it's thin flour and not like grainy and textured. So I'm just gonna decant all of the items that I got. I love drinking hot chocolate, especially like in the morning times, because here lately, I don't know what it is, like coffee is just not having the same flavor for me, because I'm trying not to use any of the nasty creamers. And I tried just heavy whipping cream with honey, and I don't like that. I tried the 0 sugar, and I just don't like that. So it's just like I'm just moving on to hot chocolate for now with my protein powder in it. So I'm gonna decant all these. I'm gonna put my new flour in this bucket. And I love how they have these little tabs on the top that you just pull the string and it comes off so effortlessly. And this is what I was talking to you about. You'll see right here, see the texture of that? It's just really like, I don't know, it's just grainy, and I don't really care for it that much, but we'll still use it. We just won't buy it again. I will say I did not do it this time, but preferably when you get large bags of grains, you need to freeze them for at least 2 days to kill any of the bugs that might be living in them. But I don't have a deep freezer at the moment, so I'm kind of just chancing it and hoping that nothing is growing in there. If I see something that's growing in there, then unfortunately, I'm going to have to throw it away. But hopefully we'll go through it before any of that happens, because we go through flour and oatmeal very quickly. But ideally, you want to freeze your grain bags like this that are this big for at least 2 days to make sure it kills any kind of bug or anything that's living in them. I'm so happy that this linen closet is still looking nice. If you haven't seen my decluttering video where I fixed that problem, you should check it out, because it has stayed spick and span like that since I have done it. I'm so proud of that fact. So now we're just going to clean up and clean the table off, and then I'm going to show you whenever you make your sourdough bread and you're letting it sit there, it needs to sit and get all, I don't know what the word is, it needs to form and come together for about 30 minutes. And then after that, you're going to want to stretch it and fold it a few times. You can wait every 30 minutes or every hour and a half, however long you want to do it. But I would do it at least 3 to 4 times. And this is what I mean by you're just stretching it and folding it on top of itself. And you're building up the gluten inside of that. And it's going to make your bread and the dough and the texture really good whenever it's done. And then these little clear plastic caps I got off of Amazon. I think I got it's a 60 pack or a 40 pack for $5, because it's just shower caps. So I just put them over, and it's just perfect. You could do that or a damp towel over your dough and just let it sit there and do its thing. So after you wake up and your dough's been resting on the counter all night, you want to turn your oven to 450 and get it really hot. And then what you're going to do, you're going to take your dough out of your bread bowl, out of the bowl, which if you have a Banneton, you can keep it in your Banneton as well. Or you could even, the recipe that I use, she wanted you to put it in the fridge overnight. And when I tried that, it did not work out for me. So the only thing that worked for me was leaving it on the counter overnight. So you try it your own way and see what works for you, but this is what worked for me. And then you're going to roll it and then kind of cup it with your hand. You're going to make a C and just kind of cup it around just to make a really tight ball. And you just keep rolling it until it gets into a nice ball. And then you're going to put it in your Dutch oven and let it rest again for about 30 minutes to an hour. I let mine rest until I can at least see that it has risen a little bit. That means it's still active and it's going to rise even more in the oven. Okay, then you're gonna wanna turn your oven to 400. Take the plastic wrap off, put the lid on your Dutch oven, and put it in the oven. Well, scratch that. Before you put it in the oven, you need to, if you wanna cut it, decorate it however you wanna do. You can get really creative here, and there's a lot of different templates and ways you can cut it. You can just do a simple cut down the middle. I'm just experimenting now. I really like the look of trees and flowers. So this one I'm gonna do two like pine tree, like Christmas looking trees, just because I love Christmas. And so I'm going to cut them. I'm by no means an expert, but you know, you get better the more you do things. So we're gonna keep practicing until we get really good at it, but hey, we're still gonna eat it. It tastes delicious. So they also have things that you can paint. You can paint your bread, and I've seen that. I'll eventually, you know, try to practice with that. But for now, I'm just gonna cut this this little pattern of trees, and you're gonna want to cut it because it's gonna need somewhere to like kind of rise out, and you want that crispiness as well on the top. And then put the lid on and put it in the oven for about 20 minutes. And then once the time is up, once 20 minutes is up, you're going to take the lid off and then cook it again for about 40 to 45 minutes. And once your bread is done, you want to let it cool for at least an hour before you cut it. And enjoy your bread, guys. It is delicious. Slather some butter on there, whatever you want to eat with your bread, but it is beautiful and delicious, and your whole house is going to love it, the smell and the taste. Thanks for stopping by this week, guys. We'll see you in the next one.